I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Hamlet of Beavercreek Board. It is March 17th of 2022, and we're calling this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Let's see if we have any attendees. Not at this time. Whoop, I could be wrong. Nope, 0. Okay, so I won't be doing introductions. So let's just launch in. I guess one thing I should mention is that we are conducting this meeting via Zoom. And I think that's all I need to do for the beginning. All right, let's launch. We've got 4 sort of land use applications. 3, 4, no, we have 5. And I did have a revised agenda. I hope you all got to see that. But the 4 land use applications are in the Beavercreek area, and then one is the City of Oregon City that we need to talk about. The first one is ZO88-22 with James and Connie Hicks. And they're at 22876 South Highway 213, Oregon City. They're zoned exclusive farm use, 19.77 acres. They're requesting the renewal of a temporary home for care. Shot the email or the application out to you all. I also asked for an extension. I think I asked for an extension on 3 of the 4 of these, and we were granted an extension until the day after our community meeting, Jess. So as long as they get our input from the community on the 25th, then, or excuse me, 24th, then we'll be fine. I've received no input on this app. Did anyone get a chance? Did everyone get a chance to look at it? Were there any questions or concerns? Okay, awesome. The next one that we'll be reviewing next week is ZO78-22 Scott Salisbury at 17400 South Henrici Road, Oregon City, zoned RRFF5. It's 10.24 acres, and they're requesting a partition to 2 5-acre lots, which obviously they can do with their zoning. And again, I looked everything over. I didn't see anything too crazy on that. I've not received any input. How about any of you? Oh, and Bill has his hand up. Bill, some way we have got to change the color of that hand.
I can change it, but if I make it too dark, I can make it really dark.
Yeah. Or even bright yellow. That would, I mean, just, I hate to miss you. It makes me feel bad. So if you could just make it like a darker or a yellow, just something brighter would help. Sorry, but go ahead.
So I don't know if I've seen Z0078. I certainly haven't posted it on the website. So please get it to me so I can post it on the website. My.
1 moment. Okay. Those should all be here. Okay. And I will do that. And then if you have any questions, you can certainly email the board.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like if it's 10 acres and they're doing 5 acres, that's not an issue, but I don't have it on our website, and I just checked to make sure. And so please send it to me so I'll put it on the website. Yes,
I definitely will. Okay. All right. The next one was Z0076-22 Donald and Teresa Grice at 15585 South Caris Road, Oregon City, zone RRFF5. They have 5.67 acres, and they're requesting the renewal of a temporary home for care. And again, same stuff. I didn't see any problems, no input. So, okay. Just raise your hand if you have any comments. Next one, ZO56121, property owned by Roger Rowland and Desiree Barber. The applicant is Lindsay Jones. This is at 21030 South Ferguson Road, Oregon City, zone RRFF5. They have a ½ acre, and they're requesting the reduction of a 30-foot setback to 10. Now, setbacks in rural Clackamas County, when you build something, are 10 feet from every boundary, with the exception of 30 feet from the main road. So obviously they want to be closer to the road. This isn't one I've really studied as far as what would that look like, feel like, any of that. Did any of you get a chance to look at that one?
I didn't. Cheryl's got her hand up.
Oh, good. Cheryl?
The one thing that really jumped out at me is it seemed that the application was full of comments like, everybody else is doing it, I want to do it.
Oh, well, that's weird because we've not received many of these. I mean, that's very odd. Okay. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's because they want to put up a fence or, because if they breach that 30 feet, they're definitely within the county's easement rights, aren't they?
No, I don't believe so. I believe your easement rights are from the middle of the road toward your house, which is 10 feet of road and 10 feet of up to the house. So yeah, they would be right on the boundary. At least that's the way it is out here. I don't know why it would be different further in, but so I think it would be right. There would be your house or whatever on the edge.
Do we know it's a road setback?
Ask that again, Kenny. I'm not sure I quite understand.
Are you sure it's a road setback?
Well, what it is again, you would have 10 feet all the way around your house, except for your access, where you come off the road, like if they're, well, what are they on? What is the name? Is it on Ferguson Road? Okay, so their house faces Ferguson, or they would like their house to, I think they want to add on, don't they?
Yes.
Yes, they want to add on, which means from their house, they would be adding toward Ferguson another 20 feet, because they should be at least 30 feet on the setback.
I guess I haven't had a chance to really look at the application,
Okay.
but
and-
I just wasn't sure because I know our property has extra rules about where you can do stuff because of the creek thing that we have. So that's why I was just making sure it's the road that they're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Let's all maybe take a little moment here and we can look at that.
What was the number of it?
Z0561. And I just emailed you all again on the Z0078, the one that Bill did not get. And so just to make sure that you all did. 1 second. Okay.
So this property is just to the south of Wilson
Okay.
and slightly strangely shaped lot, but it's just to the south of Wilson, and all of those houses there are back about the same distance
Mhm.
from the house, from the place.
Those are those little roads, Bill, on the west side.
The road that goes east and west is Wilson, which is where Albuquerque is.
Right.
But when it crosses Ferguson,
Yeah.
it goes into a little tiny private road, and it's tiny on that side. And this property is just to the south of that Wilson Road thing. And all the houses there are about the same setback. Yeah. You can see the line of houses there, all about the same distance.
Mhm.
And that one, they've got a huge parking lot in front, so maybe they want to use some of their parking lot for
Mhm.
building or
And
something.
there's the perfect example, seeing the setback of 30, giving them obviously some property behind their home, but right, they would be obviously building toward the road. Does that answer your question, Kenny?
Actually, to me, looking at the application,
Mhm.
it looks like they want to build north towards Wilson. Yeah, not Ferguson. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So I'm guessing they'd stay on the inside of that hedge, right? It looks to me.
And level up.
All right. Okay, and then then this has got to be different than what we do out here. Because if you were out here on Buckner Creek Road, your setback would be 10 feet on all sides except for along Buckner. Apparently, maybe on RRFF5s, you have to, because they're saying that they had to be 30 feet from Wilson Road, which is not their access road. Their access road is Ferguson. So if they want to build toward the north, but want to be closer to that, or go into the 30-foot setback. So no, this is different than what I know. Bill, do you have any insight on this?
No insight at all. I know that that bit of Wilson Road doesn't go very far.
No.
And so it's not like it would be impinging on the traffic of Wilson Road very much.
And there's nothing out there that would cause the road to ever be expanded, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's a drop off further to the east.
Very interesting. Well, and of course, I'll be inviting all of our applicants to join us. So hopefully we'll get that. Oh, Jack, you have a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say that looking at the picture that we were shown with the fact that 2 cars parked in the front of the house, that's close to 30 feet right there. And so there's no way that what they're talking about is Ferguson Road.
And when I look at the CMAP, plot, they've got a structure to the south of their house, which looks like it's right up against the line, actually, which doesn't look like a setback at all.
That's a separated garage. Their house is built right up to the 30-foot setback from Wilson, and they just want to go past it. There's a map on page 13 of the application.
And that's weird because I have that application right here. I don't have a map.
I don't either.
6, 7, 8, something. What was mailed to me then is incomplete because I don't know. Mine only goes to page 7.
Well,
Oh my
the
God.
email that you sent, page 13, has the lot map.
Oh, I see what, okay. Oh, I see the exterior boundary. There it is.
Scroll back down a little bit, Jessica. No, the other way. Yeah, right there. That shows where things are, where the boundary is, and where their proposed addition is.
So I don't think they want to go past the hedge that's there. I think they just want to.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't see an issue with it, but that's me.
Yeah, well, as I said, we'll invite the applicants and then of course, I'll let anyone know if we receive any concerns about it. So, okay, good questions. Excellent, you guys. The last one I just shot to you all, and it's from the city of Oregon City. And this is the property which used to house the school bus garage, Maple Lane Court. So if you're on Beavercreek and you're heading north and you take a right on Maple Lane, and you curve around, but you take a left instead of the normal right, that's Maple Lane Court. But it's that property that housed Bus Barn, and then there's a bunch of stuff. I think they store RVs up there and boats and stuff like that. But that was the development they promoted or brought to us quite a while ago, where they wanted to do so a rehab facility, some commercial office buildings, and then multiple families. So anyway, what they are requesting on this application is, if you go to the second page of that application, it's the stormwater pipe that would go from that area down into Newell Creek. And that's the creek that runs along Beavercreek, goes under 213 and then down into Newell Creek. So our only concern, we know there's historic landslides there. But the question is, and it's something the board needs to think about before next Wednesday, is whether or not we want to write a letter or respond to this to Oregon City regarding that stormwater.
Well, it's also, Newell Creek is a contributory to the Clackamas River, which is a class 1 fish river. And so any kind of runoff, any kind of, stormwater runoff from vehicles or anything like that, that washes down into Newell Creek is going to wash down into Clackamas and, into, not Clackamas, into Abernethy. And that's an environmental issue. So there's really an environmental issue here as well to be considered, because if they're just dumping, wastewater into the Newell Creek, that's a problem.
Mhm. That's a very good point. I just wrote all that down, Bill. We have until March 29 to respond. So I'd like for us all to think about any other concerns we'd have. And then if we want to formulate a response to Oregon City and send it, I think we should. Jack.
Yes, I'm just wondering if by doing that, they're not lessening the chance of landslide by diverting some water. And that if that's the purpose, to make the ground more stable.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I think, there's gonna be obviously parking lot. And so it's a way to get that off of there. But yes, any time that you divert, where the historic landslide is if you go up into that location, it's on the far left, right above Highway 213. That's where the absolute historic landslide is. That's not where this is going to be. This is probably going to be draining off, gutters and parking lot. So I don't know how much it would help, but anytime you can get water out of an area, it does help for sure. Thank you, Jack. Kenny?
I'm wondering, this is a condition of approval for something else. Does
Yes.
that impact it at all? I mean, does that mean it's already been looked at in some way as a part of the other process?
You're right. This is a requirement of this building, right? The improvement satisfies a condition of approval, which was GLUA, blah, 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 blah. But the question continues, which is the question that Bill brought up, is how are you taking care of the quality of this runoff that's going from Newell to Abernathy to Clackamas River? So, what did the environmental people say?
I mean, it's already almost there. It's probably ending up there anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, but we don't want to encourage wastewater runoff with oil and
No,
automotive pollutants in it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, somebody else had their hand up. I think we're there. Okay. So again, we'll bring it up next week and then formulate a response.
Bill has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill.
I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that Athena Cook has joined us as an
Oh,
attendee.
wonderful. Gosh, thank you, Bill, very much. Welcome, Athena. Thank you for joining us. And if you have a comment or a question, you please feel free to use your raise hand feature. And we're always happy to hear from you.
I've got one more question about this.
Please, Kenny, go ahead.
Do we know because they're just requesting to build a storm water pipe, right? So they may, I assume that they're going to have to do the stuff like they did across the road from us, where they've got the like little settling pond things. So it's not just instantly going in.
Well, that's a good question, Kenny.
Right.
Bioswale would help settle stuff, would collect oils and stuff like that into the bioswale rather than washing it down into the creek.
Okay.
Great, good, excellent questions. Thank you. Okay, land use decisions. The home occupation for the mobile dental office was approved subject to conditions. I'm not quite confident I know exactly where we are with the host event weddings, the place over there off of Kirk Road, John Childs, the one that Mark Hilliard responded for us. And so when Mark gets on, let's ask if he's heard anything. And then finally, this was the Lavender Lab there on that lovely little old place on Beavercreek Road. how do I say that? It's right across from, what's the name of the road there? It's,
Amelia Court.
thank you, just south of Camellia, exactly. And we had supported it, and there ended up being a neighbor that got a hold of Lorraine, excuse me, Gonzalez. And Lorraine had issued the decision a little too early. You know, we have 20 days from the date of the actual application is deemed thorough and issued to the public. And she did. She kind of issued the decision a little early. So she went back because the neighbor had a lot of questions and a lot of input. And I had a long conversation with her as well as,
With whom?
I'm sorry, the neighbor. And let me get her name really quickly here. It was a little process. 1 second. Shoot, I had it. Deborah Noble was her name. Yep. And she was one of the people that also commented quite a bit when they considered that for a sports field for playing soccer and softball and stuff. So she had a lot of questions. She had a lot of input, some of which could be considered, some not really. I'm trying to think of the most burning. So Lorraine and I had conversations with her, and it didn't change anything. It's still approved subject to conditions. A couple of the conditions were tightened up a little more, but nothing really changed. She just needed to make sure that her input was given, which it was, and they literally reissued the decision, which was very, very good on Lorraine's part. So didn't change, but it was wonderful to be a part of that process that worked very well. Okay, that's it for now until Mark. Oh, yes, Bill.
So I don't have a copy of the decision for Z0573, so I haven't posted that.
Hold on.
And I don't think that the decision for 424 is really complete yet. And Mark can update us on that, but I don't have that to post on the website either.
Okay, the 424, oh no, you're right. We don't have the official because the hearings officer is holding the record open for additional information. You are correct on that. And let me check on 573. I thought I sent that to everybody, but I may not have, because that, we had a gray area of decision. Yep. So I'll check on this one. Thank you, Bill, for keeping track of all that. Okay, let's launch off of applications. And Jack, any news from the sheriff's office? And Jack had his hand up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, just under the applications, you sent out the final decision from the county on the one with the 30-person residency and all that. Can we just assume now that they're going to probably appeal it to Luba?
Jack, it is such a good question. I mean, it really, really is. I've heard thoughts on both sides of that. And this is the Addiction Recovery Center out off of Lower Highland Road is what Jack's talking about. I don't know. It kind of depends on how much money and how much time they want to put toward this. I've not heard from them directly or their attorney. I have talked to people at the county level, and they feel this could go either way. So, but the moment I know, I'll definitely let you guys know.
Well, because isn't it my understanding that if they do attempt, regardless of how long it takes, they attempt an appeal, they're allowed to continue as they are now operating.
You are accurate.
Well, I guess, I don't know. They may also, because there's a limited window for when they can appeal to Luba, right?
Yes, there is.
They probably have a lot more flexibility on a federal appeal, taking it to federal court.
Yes, and they have those two options for sure. And I don't know anything about federal, never been through that process. We could ask the Martha Fritzy would know. So
I can't remember. What was the decision? I don't know if I spaced out when you talked about it or if we just did it and I've since forgotten. The Kirk Road decision, was that denied or?
Okay, the Kirk Road, again, that's the event center. And
Yes.
that's where the hearings officer has held it, the record
Oh,
open.
okay.
Right, but the Addiction Recovery Center, the one out on Lower Highland Road, that has gone through the Board of County Commissioners and has in fact officially, and now there's been, I think I emailed you guys the official notice that it's been denied. Now they have, the clock starts ticking on whether it's a federal or state or both appeal. So we'll see on that one. Mark, since you're here, welcome. And have you heard anything on Kirk Road stuff or?
No, I have not heard anything specific on Kirk. I did meet with his new manager of the agricultural aspect of his property, which is the majority of the property. And I have at this point going to have a coffee meeting with Mr. Childs. We'll make that arrangements next week. He's out of state this week. So next week we'll make an arrangement to have a conversation to try to patch or quilt together the relationship of the neighborhood. No matter what the results are of the hearings officer, I'm already trying to put together a repair and patch and get together and moving forward with the neighborhood and their relationships.
Is this a request from Mr. Childs or is this on your own initiative or, I mean, what?
My initiative. I went over there looking at, drove by looking at what's going on with the bridges going across the creek. And in the process of that, ran into his manager. We talked about property lines, easements, and I said, I'd love to have a conversation so we can move forward with everything with the neighborhood. Let your employer know. And Mr. Childs gave me a call that evening and said, hey, I would love to do that. I'd love to have a good relationship with my neighbors. So we're going to continue on with that.
Good. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good. Any other questions for Mark or on applications? Okay. Jack, again, any comments on Sheriff's Department?
Well, I haven't had a need really to be very active in that because of how active Lieutenant Mendoza has been attending our meetings and such like that. But certainly I'm there for if anybody ever wants me to contact the Sheriff's Department about something specific.
Okay.
That's what I think my role is right now.
It is. And thank you. I just, if you hear anything, just let us know. And Mark?
So on the subject matter of the Sheriff's Department and so on, I know there's been an uptick in the last couple of weeks in the immediate Beavercreek area, specifically McBurney Road, Sisters Road, and a couple others where there's been drive-bys, meaning people coming to houses, especially on gravel roads, saying, hey, we're here to give possible prices for sidewalks and curbs, when there's, that they're scoping out and finding out who's home and who isn't. And this is getting to be more so.
Wow.
So just a heads up for all of us to let our people in our community know. And Jack, maybe just a heads up to our liaison to, this is becoming more of an issue, both on the Beavercreek segment of Facebook, but also our neighbors just nearby are calling up and saying, hey, somebody just stopped by and said this, so watch out.
Yeah, I think Lieutenant Mendoza addressed that specifically at the last meeting, community meeting, mainly because, like he said, is that this is happening all over, but there's no way that unless something is actually done, there's no legal way that they can sit there and stop a person. They don't have probable cause. Just because a person stops in your driveway and and appears to maybe talk about something phony or whatever, that's not a crime. And yes, and scoping out itself technically is not a crime. Something has to be done before the sheriff's office can be proactive about
So
individuals.
with that thought, Jack, you probably could talk to this. I know several of our neighbors are starting to put in security cameras for the approach to their buildings, to their driveways, and other aspects of their yards, both Bluetooth and hardwired. So if you see people coming on board, that would be something to definitely get involved with the sheriff's department and let them know about that and communicate. So there is a record and photos, pictures, as long as they're clear, that helps them in their investigation. They help us as a Hamlet and all of our people to be more on providing that information to the sheriff's department.
Oh, yeah, so true. And, but once again, the fact that somebody drives into your driveway and you take this picture and you attempt to, the sheriff's department may or may not take a crime report on that. Okay. Because once again, if let's say let's just hypothetical, you sit there and you send it in, and the sheriff's office encounters this person the next day from the license plate or whatever, and just doesn't pull them over, but the person is standing alongside his vehicle. So the sheriff's office gets out and starts chatting with him. And we had a complaint that just the other night, you were in somebody's driveway in such and such an area. What was that all about? And that's about the extent of what they can say or ask. And all the person says is, I just had my addresses messed up, and that's it. That's all they can do.
Yeah,
Say, well, thank you.
they need cause and effect. So if there is an actual,
Well, in reality, they need a crime to actually be committed. There's, so many things that are potential crimes. I mean, just somebody looks at you cross-eyed in the parking lot at Fred Meyer's, people are complaining about, and or walking behind you as you approach your car. They may or may not have had anything planned, or maybe they did have something planned and it got spoofed, but no crime was actually committed, and the Oregon City Police and the Sheriff's Department are constantly getting flooded with these could have been a crime, type thing. So I understand your concern though.
And Kenny, you had a comment?
I was just gonna ask Jack if he knows how they've been doing with staffing, because I know the county as a whole has been having a lot of issues with that.
They've got open hires right now for like 30. So that's going to increase, once they get those people hired, they got the money for it. So
What percentage of those are sworn positions?
those are for 30 deputies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that takes time, they have to go through the academy and
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. I mean, so that to see those 30 on the road, and some of them may wash out,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got a couple buddies that are deputies in other counties, so I have a little familiarity with the process.
so it's a time thing, and we will see it over time increase. So the current thing that everybody passed, the levy and everything, allows for hiring these 30 people. So
Great. Thank you, Jack. Thanks, Kenny. Oh, Bill.
So Jack, if I have a no trespassing sign posted at the front of my long driveway and somebody drives up my driveway to my house and they're clearly many, many feet into my property where it says no trespassing, are they committing a crime?
Not really. It's kind of a border thing. They have to be doing just crossing a sign without doing anything else, like getting out of the vehicle or going and looking inside another vehicle or whatever. Okay. You know, it's no trespassing signs are kind of in reality, I don't want to say a joke. I mean, I don't want to say joke. They're kind of a deterrent maybe to some people, but there's so many people that have legitimate reasons to cross that sign to come up to your house. You know, the PGE guy or the mailman or, you know, so many other people. Are we going to accuse them of trespassing? No. You know,
Yeah, only if we're right-wing kooks will we do that. But,
yeah, there has to be an effect of
Right.
crossing that sign to really create a problem.
But if I see somebody crossing my do not trespass sign and I get their license plate number, I wouldn't feel bad about giving that to the sheriff.
If you want to overburden the system,
Well,
if you have something,
if I was made nervous for any reason, I would definitely do that.
oh yeah, if you were made nervous, let's say you went out to confront the person, you know, hey, what can I do for you? And the guy gets belligerent or makes aggressive moves towards you or says something threatening, yeah, then, you know, but just because, can you just picture what the phone line system would be if everybody that crossed the no trespassing sign caused a phone call into the sheriff's department?
Oh yeah, I can thoroughly understand. I was just
Yeah,
probing the limits there. So
yeah.
So I only have one more question, and that's to Tammy. Can you see my hand now?
I do. I think it's a wonderful hand. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay.
Much, much better. It doesn't match your window trim.
Good.
Kenny.
Mark was actually before me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
I think with a no trespassing sign, if you have an open gate, that's still an invitation for somebody to come in and ask permission to have a conversation with you. If you have a closed gate and you say without authorization and have a phone number to make contact, then you have more grounds to stand on for not having somebody trespass. That being said, Jack is very wise in what he says.
Awesome. And Kenny.
Yep, I was just going to ask Jack. I assume the calculation changes if you ask someone to leave and they don't, right?
Oh, most assuredly.
Okay.
Then there is actually a trespass being occurring.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, if you confront the person and they refuse to leave, and you got your cell phone in your hand, that would actually warrant a 911 call, not a 8211 call.
Oh, that's good to know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how to turn them around really fast, but may not be appropriate for this venue.
That would be
Okay.
bordering other crimes, I am sure.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Okay, good conversation. Thank you. Let's keep moving right along with, thank you, Jack, very, very much. Cheryl emailed us all her treasurer's report. Did you have anything to add, Cheryl, or did anyone have any questions?
I have things to add.
Oh, please do.
I'm sure you all studied those reports with great fervor.
Yes.
There is pop quiz. Did anyone notice anything unique about the trust report?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked at it.
Okay.
I've been preoccupied.
Well, it didn't go down, did it?
It did, but we had our first deposit since 2019.
Oh, I wondered why it went up.
We had our first deposit since 2019.
Oh, how much?
$70 because of the shirts that
Oh.
sold. Thank you,
Oh.
thank you.
Nice job, yes. I don't see that anyone is wearing them, Miss Jess. Wonderful.
I'll wear it next week.
Okay.
So I have a question. So like the check you gave me, it doesn't show that it was a outstanding debt, and it doesn't show that it was paid.
It's based on the date. When I do those reports, I used information between the current board meeting date and the prior board meeting date, and I have not entered that in yet. So on the next months, it will be there. I do have some things on my little list here that I do want to talk about. I am still finalizing the inventory. Tammy, you can talk about the Corner Park history.
No, that's not, because you,
Tammy?
okay, are we still on inventory?
Oh, no, that Corner Park history. I am working on that. Tammy
Right.
loaned me the Through the Looking Glass. And I've been perusing through that. I have a question for board members. I don't remember us discussing this at a meeting. The office buildings that are next to the corner park, there is one of them that has had a small, like tiny office or something parked out in that parking area for probably over a year. Is there something going on with that we should make note of? Is it authorized?
Is that like the trailer? It looked to me like they were almost building a site trailer that they could park somewhere construction's going on. And then it just got stalled out and never finished. That's what I pieced together walking by from time to time, but I
Okay,
don't know.
It doesn't look like it's finished. It looks like it's still under construction.
okay.
But it's also been under construction for like a year and a half, so, or more. So, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, okay, number one, are they allowed to even have it there? I don't know. It seems odd. It's a commercial, you have a commercial building, you're supposed to have parking, but now you've got this big thing you're constructing. So I guess the first question would be a call to code enforcement, right? Just saying, this is what's going on. Is that allowed? I mean, if it's temporary, fine, but what is the definition of temporary? It is a bit of an eyesore and it has been there a long time. So, we can certainly just place a little call or fill out a little code enforcement form online that says, hey, do you guys know anything about this? Jack?
Kind of before doing that, why wouldn't it be appropriate to contact the people themselves before you into the cops?
We could absolutely stop by. I always kind of hate to pretend like I'm an authority because I'm not. Walking in saying, hey, I'm getting a lot of inquiries at the Hamlet. Is this a temporary thing? And I'm always a little concerned about getting, what the hell business of you is that? And I'd be like, oh, okay, well, never mind.
Take Bill with you.
Oh. Okay.
No, I think, just on any kind of, it seems to me, once again, going back to turning in people to the cops or the code enforcement or whatever, it always seems like maybe people should at least make an initial contact. And if the guy tells you to go to hell, you go to code enforcement. Okay.
I mean, that's not a bad idea, Jack. I like that, the more personable touch. And I mean, we can still say we are getting inquiries at the Hamlet level because that is a fact.
Yeah.
And inquiring minds want to know. And yeah, you're going with me, Bill. Maybe I'll take Mark and Joe too.
If you
If
wait
I
till
really
after,
wanted to intimidate him, I'd take Cheryl.
All three of us will meet at the corner park and walk over.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I've got it on my list of to-dos, so we'll get something organized.
you say if you wait till after April 18th, I can go with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, after April 18th. Okay.
But yeah, I think reaching out first is generally a good idea. And
Well,
I don't even see it anymore, honestly.
yeah, it does kind of blend in a bit. It's still that dark wood color. I mean, the other thing is if you're out walking Odin and somebody's out there, you could just stop and say, hey, I happen to be on the board of the Hamlet. We've been getting questions. We've been meaning to call you. What's the story? So if you take that initiative, I wouldn't say no,
I'm not home during business hours, Tammy. I can't.
but Jessica could. I'd be afraid of Jessica too. So anyway, all right, we'll try and make that happen at some point.
And
Okay.
Next thing I have a question about is, I see that we got a voicemail recording email.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I want to make sure someone else knew that that was there because I had no idea how to address the person's.
Oh, I just called them and I said, we don't have a thing in the world to do with HOAs and the county doesn't and the state doesn't. However, I happen to have a lot of experience with that. So I gave him some advice and he was like, wow, yes, that will help. And he's right across from the golf course and the airplane hangar there across from Beavercreek, that big. He's not in Kaufman. Is it no CAU? What is the name of that subdivision?
Hoffman.
It is Kaufman.
Yeah.
He's one that's a little north, but it still has an HOA and he pays fees and he needed something done. And I said, well, my best advice is follow the money. Where do you send the check? Get a hold of him. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. But anyway, we had a nice conversation, really nice guy. So yes, I mean, I see them, I listen to them. And then if it's, somebody that has experience in it, then I usually would say, hey, Joe, or hey, Cheryl, give them a call. It's more your bailiwick, but HOA is mine. So I took it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheryl,
The other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
The other thing I want to address is, as we are moving forward and doing a little more that is going to involve monies coming out of our trust account. I would like for all of us to be forewarned, and please be aware of this, especially when dealing with volunteers who feel that they need a reimbursement from the trust account. The check that I requested for Joe took almost a month to get. It's time consuming to get a trust check because they only cut them once a week. So if I get the request to them by Tuesday, maybe it will be created that week, maybe not, putting it off to the following week. And we all know that they don't work on Fridays. Well, Joe's check took a little extra time this week because she wrote the wrong post office address on the envelope when she mailed it to us. Now, when I send the check request to them, I specifically say, please mail to Hamlet of Beavercreek, Cheryl Buchert, Treasurer, Post Office Box, Beavercreek, and she still sent it to the wrong place. So it had extra mileage points on its little frequent flyer card there. So I would just like everyone to be aware of it. And then the check that I had requested for Tammy earlier in the year, when she addressed the envelope, she addressed it to Tammy, not to me. And so that took a little extra time too. I think that these are challenges that I cannot immediately rectify or change because there's a human being there to manhandle this check before it finally gets mailed back to us. So I used to think that it would take a couple weeks to get a check. Now I'm going to say, let's bank on 3 to 4 weeks.
Give her a little stack of pre-addressed envelopes.
I've thought about that, but
It's fun.
or including a sticker to put on the envelope. So I still have, pun intended, trust issues with the process.
Okay, Cheryl, before you launch off of your stuff, I didn't jump in quick enough on the inventory. A couple things really fast, stuff that's owned by the Hamlet, so stuff we paid for out of the trust. The first 3 items are the various bows. You know, we bought not bows, we bought ribbon and made red bows for the park during the holiday season. All of those are now actually in Mark and Cindy's hands, but the vast majority are not really in very good shape. Mark and Cindy are going to go through and cull the herd and only pull out ones that they would like to use and probably toss. So honestly, I would kind of take those first 3 lines off just because it's really, there's not going to be a lot that they're going to use. It's going to just kind of, so if you take those 3 off, and then I know further down, the one on the June 21st and the August 11 has to do with all the shirts and hats. And I know you have a more current list that I gave you. I don't know if you want to keep a detailed list here or not. I think that's fine with what you've done. It may not be perfectly spot on, but I don't think that matters because that's really our stuff. But I just wanted to mention that, you know, you have that. I think I sent it to you.
I do think inventory of any apparel is important when it comes to reorder. You need to know what you have on hand in what sizes and colors and all of that to know what to reorder.
Yeah.
I've worked with 3 different organizations trying to manhandle inventory for apparel, especially shirts, and it is obnoxious to get a grip on.
Right, and we've got, remember the thing I just mailed out with what we've got in sizes, so we have an absolute spot on inventory now. And when we get to Joe's part of this agenda, we'll talk about the inventory and maybe what we want to do about that.
Yeah, and it's in one of the organizations I got the inventory organized, showed that there had been theft by volunteers taking the apparel without paying for it and other things. So, you know, if it was just a shirt or something, that may not be that much of an impact, but if it was a lot, it's a lot. But I'll make those adjustments.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you. And the last thing is on that history thing. So I've talked to Cheryl about it. I don't know if this is something we want to do. I know it's something that the Stafford Hamlet does. It's very, very popular. And so I wanted to bring it up here if this might be something now or in the future that we want to initiate into our community meetings. And what the Stafford does is near the front of the meeting, they have like a 5-minute and they take something interesting from the Stafford area, historical, and they read it. And it's a 1-page, pretty quick and simple, but it's about an area, something that was built, something that was manufactured, maybe a transportation item, and they just share it. And people like it. They learn things, and Then at the end of the meeting, which I think encourages people to stay, there's a question. And basically they say, they ask a question regarding the reading. It was in the reading. And whoever answers it first correctly in the chat wins a whatever. In Stafford, of course, it's a bottle of wine. But for us, it could be whatever. But I want you to think about whether or not you think that's interesting. I know there's lots of folks in Beavercreek that are like the history of our area. And, eventually we will have on our website lots and lots of pictures of history. But I did loan Cheryl my Through the Looking Glass, which is from I think it's the Jack Watts family that wrote up a big history. It's kind of their history of this area. And I haven't read it all the way through. It is my goal by the end of this month to do that. But I think it would be super to take little excerpts out of it. It would be simple. Read it, do a fact, and then they win something. But what are your thoughts?
I like that idea.
Okay.
And I think it looks like Athena has a question.
Wonderful.
Oh, she likes history, I think.
Oh, there we go. There, yeah, history happy. Yes. And I know Claire Kellogg, and this could be something we could ask her to do, is to come on at each community meeting and give us a brief history of something. I was warned that don't let it get too big. It needs to be a very small segment, but it's interesting. They said people are always like, really? I didn't know that. And then at the end, boy, it's a battle on the chat. So, so they like it. They think it's a fun competition. But if somebody was interested in doing that, I asked Cheryl if she might be willing to try that, and we could also share that responsibility amongst the board, or maybe ask Claire to do it. But think about it. I'll bring it up again. Thank you very, very much, Cheryl, for all of that. Were there any other comments?
I do have one more thing. Mark, did you get that map I mailed to you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I've
And
been finding other things about the park that you might want copies of as well.
okay, yes, I'd like that. I'm gonna try in the next couple of weeks, put together an effort to locate property stakes so we can know where to start from. Bill.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
One of the things in that box of stuff I dumped on your front porch there,
Oh, yes. Thank you.
there was a map of the Beavercreek Park. And I just wanted to bring that up so that Mark would know about that you have that map of the grandiose proposal for that park. So,
And actually, there was like a half a dozen of them in there. So I went ahead, I have them in a separate pile to drop off at Mark and Cindy's. So definitely, it was some really clever ideas. And I'm sure, Mark, you've probably even seen it, but it's a nice thing to have in your file of conversations that were had in the past. Yes, you dropped off lots of things. I'm going to have to watch security cameras with you coming up here again. Anyway, okay.
I wasn't trespassing.
No, didn't have signs up, but you were welcomed. Okay, anything else, Cheryl?
No, I'm done.
Okay, Joe, wooden signs. So we put a feeler out last month, and a guy just down the road gave us the big beam, beautiful beam. It's really, really nice. I've done a bunch of measuring on it. Really, the next thing is, now that we have the exact measurements of both sides of the beam, is to get it engraved. So the big question is, we've gotten from Bill Merchant, who did that last time, which was a John Holt, H-O-U-L-T. We have his email and phone number. Does anyone know him?
Didn't DJ know him?
Yeah, but he won't call and ask him. I already asked him. Yeah. He was.
John is not a young guy, and he wasn't a young guy when he carved the Hamlet of sign either. So I think if we approach him, we ought to be deferential and not say, "You did it the last time, so we want you to do it this time." I don't think that would work very well.
Yeah.
So I think that we can ask him certainly, but if he doesn't want to because he's past that time of his life that he wants to do that, I think we just have to accept that
Okay.
and find somebody else.
Okay.
I'll call him then. And since nobody knows him, I will get a hold of him. I know how to talk to that way, just to, yeah, and I'll see what I can find out from him.
And if he can't or doesn't want to, maybe he would have a recommendation.
Recommendation, right.
Yeah, that would be great.
Right.
Anyone else have anyone that they know does that kind of engraving? Mark or no?
Like I said, the last time I laid out the letters for the Hamlet of and gave that to him so that he could lay out from my paper, things that he could lay out on the woods. So I can do that again if you want me to.
Well, and Bill gave me this. It's like lots of different fonts.
Yeah.
That would, I mean, you can hardly go wrong with any of them. I would pick something that's just a little more blocky and not too frilly. Honestly, like, I think it was the second from the last looked perfect. But when we get our carver, then I think that's the next piece, is getting the software, the font.
The layout of the sign.
Right. And
Right.
then once we can get it over there and carved, then it comes back and we need to get it everything treated, painted, put glitters on it. A big question on this is budget. Where were we, Joe? We had what?
We spent $963 or something. I think what was voted on was 1,200, wasn't it?
That was what I was going to say. I was looking for that number really quick.
So then
so-
there should be enough money left.
Well, and this is kind of not the same project. I mean, this is now a new project, a different project. And so we can either go down the road of, hey, we've still got at least a couple $100 left, which the only thing we need is some white paint, some bolts, obviously, nuts, washers.
Nuts and washers.
I think, DJ's gonna donate the treatment stuff. So I don't think we could even spend that 200. We wouldn't anyway, but or should we really make a new motion for this third sign?
Can I suggest we find out if John Holt doesn't want to carve it and we have to get somebody else to carve it, if there's a price involved in carving it, maybe we should wait on the decision until we know if we have to pay for the carving.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good. Because I'm pretty confident just with your original motion, Bill, was that we still have some, but it may not be enough to carve it. It's a really good point.
All right.
So
And then
once it's carved and treated, then it goes up, and it's light enough that two people can take it up a ladder, set it in place, and then drill the holes and stuff. So it's not going to be near the affair it was, but we're a little ways out. Yeah.
If he doesn't want to, I know a couple people that do woodworking, one of which might be able to do that. He's a little out of the area, but I could ping him.
This is not, I mean, this is a pretty easy piece of wood to transport. The guy brought it up here in his SUV. So, I mean, it's long, it's 12 feet, but yeah, so that would be fabulous, Kenny. Joe, why don't you chat with John and then let us all know, and we can start reaching out to people we know.
I'll
So,
call
yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay, good.
But don't contact Kenny until after the 18th.
Oh, that's right.
You can try. I'll probably just forget whatever you tell me.
There you go. Okay, enough about that, Joe. Is there anything else on the signs?
No.
Okay, Joe and I still have a little bit of work left. We've got a touch-up paint, and we have to put the caps on the poles. A few things, nothing. It's
Right.
kind of would be better just to have a little better weather to get that done.
And the cap shouldn't go on until after the other signs in there,
Right,
because they'll be in the way.
right, definitely. Okay, so the second thing on Joe's agenda was, again, the inventory that Cheryl brought up when we talked about. And you can see some things we have a bunch of, and some things we have very few things of. And no, my pictures kind of sucked now that I really look at them. I was just throwing them on the ping pong table and taking pictures. But the question is, what I had Joe look up today is we went to this website, And the website is called Oregon Equestrian Trails. It's one of my trail riding websites. And if you type in Oregon Equestrian Trails and bring up the website, in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little basket, and it's a shopping basket. And when you click on it, you go to some software called like Zazzle. And it looks just like this. It has items for Oregon Equestrian Trails, what they are, what sizes, and how much money, and you can order. So I shot Diana Kreitz an email and said, if we wanted to go down this road, here's some Hamlet merchandise you can buy or that's free. Could we add it? And I haven't heard back from her. I'm going to suspect the answer is yes, unless you see a problem. Does anyone see a problem with putting merchandise on the website? Okay. Oh, Cheryl.
We have no way of collecting funds electronically.
But that's up to Diana. There's lots of ways to do that, and Diana can help figure that out.
I
So-
can tell you now, without waiting for Diana, that money would need to go to the trust account, and the trust account is not in a financial institution.
True, but couldn't the money go to the Hamlet's checking account, and then we say, oh, this was contributed to the wrong account. Here, put this into the trust account.
I don't think we want to commingle stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't want us commingling.
Yeah, okay.
That's one of the things about the trust account. Remember when we took the money away from the county and put it in a bank and we don't have anything to connect it to.
Right.
Well, and this is going to be Beavercreek. So if somebody wants a t-shirt, we meet them down at the park at 12 noon on Saturday and get a check and hand them their shirt. I mean, literally, I don't know. That's horrible and not a good way to do it because there's automatic payment and automatic shipping, and we could be Mr. Little Amazon, but go ahead, one of you.
Go ahead,
I have a
Cheryl.
suggestion.
Yep.
And since all the board is here, maybe we could have this conversation. Because I think let me make this perfectly clear. I am absolutely not against making it possible to do something with selling our wares and not either taking cash or a check. I'm all for advancing. Could we ask the BCCP to accept the funds for us to an account of theirs and then transfer that money via a check to the Hamlet? And then I'll just take it down and deposit it in the account.
And we could do a running total and issue a check once a month, Bill, and then Jessica.
I think one of the things you mentioned about Zazzle is that they do the work and you just get the money. And that's really cool because it cuts out the middleman. You pay them 30%, whatever, but you pay them to do the work, and they just send you a check for 70% or 80% or whatever of the price that you're asking for. And that money goes to BCCP or somebody else, but it's really very low effort and cost on the Hamlet's part to get that stuff going. We have to do the designs, we have to pick out the items, but beyond that, it's really pretty simple because they handle the manufacturing and the collection of money and the shipping of items and all the rest of it. So it's really, easy.
Oh, I like that a lot. Jessica?
Yes, I have three comments and suggestions. First is we're not here to make money, I don't think.
Right.
And so I don't know how much of an effort we want to put into making essentially a store for people to go to. A suggestion that I have is just to have a note saying, hey, email blank if you want to purchase any of these items. And then my third thing is how does Stafford do it?
I don't know how Stafford does it. This was just Oregon Equestrian Trails. I just saw this and thought, wow, if we could make it easier. And I agree, when we've done shirts and vests and stuff in the past, it was far, far more about community identity because we make no money. I mean, you can see our inventory. There lies our profit sitting right there in a box. We really, if we want to make money, we need to do something different, like sell wine or sell something that's really going to produce money. But this was more, people like to have the Hamlet hat or the Hamlet t-shirt or something, but that's a really, really good point. And yeah, we can make it really simple. I think if we get new items, there'll be a real feast or famine. There'll be lots of activity and then nothing. Lots of activity and nothing. We used to mainly just do this at the Hamlet community meetings. Bring stuff in, people buy it right there. The treasure was right there, piece of cake. But we want to think through this and not jump in. I just wanted to get some ideas, and Joe has volunteered to, kind of grab the project and do something with it once the board comes up with an idea that we want to do. Kenny?
I was just gonna say, I'm not necessarily the most comfortable with running money through any other organization. That said, do they only do electronic payments, or would they be open to sending us a check? Because I assume a check made out to us, we can deposit into the trust account. So if they're willing to mail us a check, I don't see an issue with that.
And I'm sure there's tons of companies out there that will do whatever we want. I just pointed out one because I saw it. And I don't know anything about Zazzle whatsoever, first time ever. So my point being, I think we have to figure out how we'd like to see it, and then figure out how to do that. But that's a really, really good point. We don't want to get into making this a big, complicated, difficult thing. But we also don't want to be running at, for $4 a gallon gas all over to drop off stickers or a visor or something. So we need to approach this smartly. Mark said he'd like to. No, he would not like to drive around. He's already spending enough money on gas getting to work.
$5 a gallon.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
5? Oh, darn, I'm staying home. Cheryl.
Selling items on the internet, the way that Bill described, sounds great. I think we also have to think about other points of sale where more and more we're going to be asked, why can't you take my debit card? Why can't you take my credit card? Can I just cash app to you, Zelle, Venmo, all of those? And at one time, I had an email conversation with, oh gosh, I can't think of his name, county treasurer about.
Brian Novel.
Thank you. About tapping into that resource. And he had many, many reasons why we should not. And I will forward that email to the board so you can see his response. I personally don't see why we could not do that. The thing is that trust account is not in a financial institution. It's in a pseudo account with the county somewhere. And there's always accountability with any money going into or out of that account. I have special forms that I have to fill out. It's just part of my job that I need to do. So I need to know where make sure that we get all the money that it's collected the way it's supposed to be, so that deposits are made. So I guess what I'm saying as I'm talking about it, Bill, is that we probably could do that, selling of merchandise on the website if ultimately they send us a check. And it's just a matter of me taking the check and depositing it. The other comment I would like to make is we do need to make money in one way or another in order to put on community activities. It's not that we are in a business to make a profit, but in order to do all the community activities that we do, we have to have funds from somewhere. And the community activities are not funded by the county. They're funded by the citizens.
Yep, good point. Thank you, Cheryl. Jack, and then I did want to mention before Jack came on that Athena asked, will in-person meetings happen again at some point? And the answer would be yes, at some point. We haven't decided that one yet, only because, you know, our population out here is a little older and a little less inclined to get together. You know, we're still, I mean, I'm still wearing masks to stores and stuff. And so we have another variant of Omicron coming our way that we need to be aware of. So at this point, we're not ready. I know the county is mostly back in person, but because of many, many rules at the state level, a lot of meetings are being required to be hybrid. And of course, we can't do that. I mean, we don't have the technology to do that. So we're either Zoom or in person. So we talk about that almost at every meeting, Athena, and thank you for bringing it up, but we're just not quite there yet. Okay, go ahead, Jack, and then
Yes.
I can ask something else.
I'm a bit concerned about this internet sales thing. The main reason is there inventory that they show of it to the public or whatever, going to say only 3 available? Or are they expecting that we assume the responsibility to keep enough in stock to handle any purchases that people may make? In other words, where we have to constantly be outputting money to keep our stock up to meet the needs of this internet organization that is selling for us? Or will they understand or be able, like I said earlier, to say, okay, hooded sweatshirts, only 2 available. And that's it. And once those 2 are gone, they don't expect that us to increase the inventory. You see what I'm saying? I think that our best option, my personal opinion, is we can make it work within the community itself. If when we have in-person meetings again, definitely let's set up a table with our merchandise. If we have something in the park, definitely let's set up a table with our merchandise. Make it available to the citizens. If one day, you know, like Beavercreek Saloon, for example, allows on Taco Tuesdays, the Cub Scouts and the Girl Scouts to sell their cookies and candy and stuff like that. Maybe one day, whether it be in the summertime on a Tuesday evening, we set up a table underneath our sign or whatever, or wherever, and sell merchandise to the people. And I just think let's keep it within the community.
And we can keep it super simple by listing items on the web. And yeah, literally put, yeah, we've got 3 vests left. Here are the sizes. If you want them, let us know. So I think it's, I agree. I mean, I like the idea of having merchandise out there, but I don't want to make this a big production and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we've got Cheryl, Bill, and then Kenny. Oh, Cheryl, you had your hand up. Never mind. Bill.
So I just wanted to say, Jack, the way it works is merchandise is produced on demand. So if we have hats and shirts and bow ties available for Beavercreek that this company is going to sell, they don't actually have any inventory. They get an order for a hat and they make a hat and they sell the hat and they collect the money over the internet through a credit card. There's no money, no cash changes hands. It's credit card debits and stuff like that. And then they create the item on demand for that person, ship it out, and there it goes. So it's really not an inventory kind of a situation. Now, when we have in-person meetings, we would want some inventory that we would have to buy from them to have inventory to be able to sell in person on site. But that kind of a company does not have inventory, so they only have 2 available. They have as many as you want available because they will produce them on demand at the time that they are ordered. They won't produce them before they're ordered. They won't produce them after the orders have ceased. They only produce them when they have an order.
Well, my concern about that is why give them 30%? If we find out that some of our citizens, through whether it be on the Facebook or on the webpage or add a thing and says, hey, I'd like 2 of those sweatshirts when you get a chance. Why don't we?
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Let me just say that in fact, in the world of commerce, that doesn't happen. Artists pay 40%, 50% commission to a gallery if they're selling their art in a gallery. I know this as a personal fact because my wife pays that much sometimes to sell her items in a gallery because somebody else is taking the risk of holding it. Somebody else is taking the risk of putting it out there. Somebody else is paying the rent for the people to look at. And in this case, you can think of paying the rent as having it on the website, having the e-commerce system in the back end to take care of this kind of stuff. So there is an overhead to doing that. Now, the way you're suggesting that we simply buy items and hold them, that means an upfront expense to us with an unknown amount of sales. And as we know from our current inventory, we've got some items that never sold. And, what are we going to do with those things? We may never sell them. So they may be a loss. And so the cost of those items are a direct cost to the Hamlet rather than a benefit. So the idea of using a third party to do on-demand manufacturing for us and paying them maybe a stiff percentage, it looks like, we will have more money coming in through that than we would have if we had no items. So that's the balance.
Are they going to advertise only in Beavercreek?
No, we advertise it. We advertise it. They don't advertise at all. It's up to us to get people to come. It's up to our website to say, would you like a hat? Here's a hat. And you click on this link and it takes you to this other company and they take the order and they fulfill the order and they send us the check for it.
Okay.
And again, that's one of many options, but that's
Absolutely.
some really good points on that, Bill, the advantages as well as disadvantages, but really good points. Athena had asked when we return to being in person, can we have some of the merchandise there? And absolutely, we can have a list and pictures and stuff like that. So definitely, we'd like to move this merchandise. So yes, Cheryl.
Maybe a lot of you aren't aware, but at every meeting, in-person meeting that we had, I had merchandise for sale and never sold a shirt.
Okay, let's rock on. Joe, I know this was your topic, but as you can see, we need to think about and maybe come up with doing a little more research, come up with a proposal to bring before the board. So if you want to do that, I'm certainly happy to give you a hand with that or whatever. Okay?
I will
Good.
come up with something.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let's move right along. Hey, Mark. Well, Joe, did you have anything else? Sorry.
No.
Okay, good. Mark, how Parks Committee? What are you thinking about now?
They
Oh, there it is. Jessica, can you bring that up on the screen for us? Oh, it was emailed to you. Uh-oh, oops. She's like, no, oops. Cindy, did you email it to Jess?
I did.
Okay, all right. Well, she can bring it up on the screen.
Pretty.
It's a beautiful flyer. Why don't you tell us what you're, oh, there it is. What you're gonna do with that.
So we're working with Barb down at the saloon. And Carla and I met with her again on this last Monday. We've got about 1,000 eggs purchased.
And tell, if you would share, because you and Mark and I have had these conversations, but just kind of give the board the history that this was originally what the saloon did, and then go ahead.
The saloon has done it. I don't know how long they've done it. When we talked to Barb about it, they've been doing it out in the back lot behind the saloon. And with the drainage field back there, they didn't feel it was a good fit to be doing it there. So we've teamed up, we're doing it at the park. We don't know how many kids we're gonna have. I'm gonna see if Diane will set it up as an event on the Facebook page so we can kind of get an idea. What we're talking about doing is splitting it up, having 0 to 6-year-olds and 6 to 12-year-olds, cordoning off the field. So we have 2 sections. We're doing some little coins that'll have something from the saloon for the kids, a scoop of ice cream or something that we're going to put on the golden egg. We've got commitment now for 2 raffle baskets. The saloon is going to put in a gift card for the saloon. A realtor friend of Carla's she talked to tonight, and she's going to donate a basket for us to raffle off. The saloon will pre-sell the tickets for us up until Easter, and then we'll draw it at Easter during the Easter egg hunt.
Okay, now this is not on Easter, it's the Saturday before.
Saturday before.
Right, I just wanted to point that out because it's, you know, everybody thinks Sunday Easter, but this is gonna be Saturday before, so families can do their separate thing.
Yes.
Now, is Patrick the Easter Bunny or Mark?
Actually, it is Crystal's brother-in-law.
Oh, wonder.
And Carla's in the process of putting props together to do a photo booth. We're going to create a hashtag so when people post pictures, we can get copies of those, see those pictures. We're working on getting little candies and toys and stuff to put in the eggs. We'll probably limit the eggs to, depending on how many kids we get, 15 eggs a child so that everyone has a fair shot at it.
You guys know about orientaltrading.com?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Good. That's where I'm getting all my stuff.
Most of the prices are the same on Amazon.
Oh, are they? Okay, okay. We're doing a hunt almost at 10 o'clock on the same day up here on our community. So I can't come down and watch, which is bumming me out. Please get lots of pictures. Please be sure Diana gets them. And absolutely, as soon as you get an approval on this flyer, both here and at the saloon, if you can get that to her, that would be fabulous.
Yes, Barb's already approved it. We worked on the flyer
Oh.
after our Monday meeting. So
Okay.
just waiting on the board.
Great. And Bill, what did you think of the flyer?
I like the flyer and I want to have a copy of it as soon as the board approves it.
Wonderful. I think I have a copy right here from Cindy, but okay. How about any other, wow, rock and roll, talk about teaming up and doing community and out in the open, nice, safe environment. Hey, Cindy and Mark, I wanted to, oh, did we lose them? Are you guys there?
They're just frozen.
Oh, no. Hey, you guys are frozen. If you wanna, oh, that's weird. You guys there?
If you can hear us, try stopping your video and coming back again. Not here, so maybe they'll come
Yeah,
back.
they locked off, so hopefully they'll be back. Anyway, I mean, it's amazing. That's just happened really fast, and I guess they just had a conversation. They have breakfast there every Saturday morning, and I guess that's where the conversation started, and off they went. So I don't believe they're asking anything from the Hamlet. That's what I want to make sure they get back on and ask if there's anything to. Athena likes the flyer too. It was a very nice one. Let me see if I can find it from Cindy and email it to you.
Bill, did you post that to the website?
No, not yet. I mean, Bill will once it's approved here.
Cool.
So I'd like to move that we approve the flyer for the event.
Second,
And it-
Oh, man, I think Joe beat Jack, maybe, but Joe seconded. Okay. And any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, just raise your hand. And hand raise, Cheryl, Kenny, and see, yes, I see Jack's hand. I see Kenny's hand. Cheryl is,
Cheryl's a little dog.
Cheryl's got a little dog going on there. I think we have at least 5 in favor, 1 we don't know, 2 we don't know. Oh, there's Cheryl. Are you in favor of the flyer? We had a motion, Cheryl? Yes? Okay, yes. I think it's unanimous. Okay, and then I have that in my file here, that flyer, and I'll get it on to you. Another thing, and I'll just bring it up and then they can tell us if they were able to go get it. Clackamas Soil and Water Conservation District contacted me and said, you remember driving by that area and seeing all the lit up stars that I think the scows, and then after the scows, they decorated that whole area. Anyway, they have a lot of holiday decorations that Clackamas Soil and Water are not going to be using, and they would like to donate them to the Hamlet. So Mark and Cindy are now connected up with Lisa Kilders, which is the administrator for them. And I suggested they store them in our shed there at the park. So I'm pretty sure when they come back on, they'll say, yep, it's in the works. So that's all I know on parks. And when they come back, we'll do more. Okay. Jessica, did you have anything to report tonight?
Nope, continuing to do minutes and recordings and attendees and all that fun stuff, reporting that to the community, to the county.
Thank you, Jessica, so much. And thank you for bringing all this up, maps and flyers. And I'm so thankful you know how to do that. It just makes it such a effective meeting. Thank you.
Just call me Vanna.
I know, Miss Vanna. Give me a number. Okay, Mark and Cindy, we did a vote and it was a unanimous vote in favor of the flyer. So I'm kind of thinking Mark would also be in favor. So I think it's unanimous across the board to use the flyer. Is there anything that you guys are on mute? Is there anything you would like from the Hamlet? Do you need money? Do you need help at the park? Do you need, you guys are still on mute. Still on mute. Is it not turning off? Keep trying. There you are.
Okay, we're still trying. We lost our connection, so we're re-getting it back.
Okay. And Cindy, will you forward a copy? Oh no, we lost him again. Oh crud. Ugh. All right, let's keep rocking. Bill, do you want to start your report? And when they come back on, I hope it's okay if I interrupt you.
Sure, it's absolutely okay. Road signs, I haven't connected with Mallory yet to really get things going.
Do you want do you want me to work with you and do up a Zoom with her, just so we can, the 3 of us can talk about where we've been, where are we, and how do we move forward, or what do you want to do on that? I'm happy to do that. Are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, no, I was talking to Bill.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here. I thought you were talking to Mark.
Oh, shoot. Okay, stop. All right, Bill, hold on pause, Bill. Mark, back off mute.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, Mark and Cindy, did you need anything from the Hamlet? Money, people helping during the Easter egg? Is there anything you're requesting from the Hamlet board?
I'm hoping we meet with Barb again this weekend or Monday. Yesterday was Patrick's birthday, so they're down at the coast. Now that we've got the flyer put together, we're gonna sit down and figure out when we're gonna stuff eggs and what we want to put in them. So after we have that meeting, then we'll reach out and put stuff together and figure out what we need for assistance.
Okay, then you just need to reach out if there's something that you're requesting from the board, whether that's, people, time, money, whatever. Also, please do remember that we have the 2 10-by-10 tents. So if you're setting up like a venue for taking pictures or something, we have those 2 tents that belong to the Hamlet.
Okay.
Speakers.
Okay.
PA system, if we can get it, do I just talk to Katie?
We have something here, and then the big one, we need to go through Katie and request it. And so, yes, I think you'll probably want the bigger system. So we'll just need to get on the list to borrow that. And then you have to just kind of figure out when to pick it up and when to drop it off. We will need insurance. So we'll need to let Katie know about insurance. And you're not doing like a porta potty, are you?
No.
It's a short period of time. Oh, darn it. There was one other thing I thought of. Like safety vests. I have those for like if you're helping get people across Leland or something, it's always nice to have those nice bright vests. I have quite a supply of the orange cones, but mainly as you're organizing, making your big list, let us know, because I do have quite an inventory here.
Okay.
Okay, beautiful. Oh, and while you guys were off doing whatever you were doing, I did report on the Clackamas Soil and Water District, Conservation District, about the stars, the holiday decorations. It looks like you and Lisa connected.
Yes, and I got the stars. I brought them here. They're in our shop in the dry area. They are in excellent condition.
Okay.
There's 4 by 4 foot by 4 foot stars. There's about 8 3 foot by 3 foot stars. Another 5 or so of 3 or 2.5 by 2.5, and there's about 8 or so 2 foot by 2 foot stars. The wood is in excellent condition. The lights definitely have to be replaced, but we can replace them with LEDs. So we'll go through those and rehab them over the next few months, and maybe those are things we can use for other events like Stars in the Parks or something like that, as well as for Christmas.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow. What a wonderful contribution. Maybe we'll just shoot over. I've got some note cards, Hamlet note cards. Maybe we'll just send over a thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I'll get that in the mail.
I guess we should also thank Gene and Larry Scow for leaving them behind for the county to do get those back in, because I'm sure both of them would love that they're being reused.
And that might be it. That's kind of the reward, that they're coming back alive again. So that's very cool. Thank you for connecting with Lisa. She's a very wonderful person, and I think she'll be a real asset. And I want to talk about that a little bit later in the meeting, but thank you for getting that done. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about regarding the parks tonight?
We got the railroad ties.
Oh, so
that was a chore.
Did you know Aaron?
No.
Okay, Aaron owns Apex, which Apex is in Oregon City, and they work on quads and motorcycles and stuff. He services my quads. He's a very dynamic person. He lives down, I assume those were on what, 213? They're south of Malino.
Yes, and they were still rebarred together and everything. It literally took an excavator to thumb them up and put them in the back of my pickup. And John Groves and I had to use the torch to separate them, get them in a condition and pull out what's left so that we can take them out of the park and not have all that stuff.
Oh, no, that's not what the picture looked like. Anyway, Aaron, the owner of Apex, had put on, I think, Facebook, hey, I've got some treated railroad ties. Anybody want? And I thought, whoa, wouldn't those be easier to handle than the big telephone poles that we've got? Boy, little did I know. Anyway, so I said, hey, Aaron, we might be really, really interested. And I copied Mark and Cindy for bumpers for the cars at the corner park. And they jumped right on it because the next thing I knew, they're like, they're ours. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And I thought you'd just go load them up in the back of your pickup and set them out. And yay, we'd be done with this. But no. Oops.
They're true railroad ties as well. They're 125 to 160 pounds a piece, if not more.
Well, that's a good thing because they might get hit with a tire. So so are they there? Are they lined up?
No, they're in a stack next to the big tall fir trees near the gazebo so that we can, we'll need to identify where the property lines are. If we want them on the back side, so not have cars encroaching on the corner park, or we need to go through and have a work session for getting the parking lot in front of Beavercreek and the corner there so that we can get rehab and then put things in place. There's only about 8 or less of those.
Okay. Okay.
It'll get us started, but we'll still need to move forward.
Okay. Well, and we may be able to find some more, as far as free. But anyway, thank you for jumping on that. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was a headache. All right. Anything else on the parks?
Not right now. We're brainstorming, and we appreciate anybody with brainstorming, Cheryl, so that we can do some other things. The Beavercreek Saloon is more than happy to be helping logistics and sponsoring other activities during the summer and into the year. It's just a matter of us looking at logistics and baby steps as we go. And the first baby step is the lights, and then the next baby step is the Easter egg hunt for everybody to get the community together. And that's the whole idea. Have some breaks in between and have some gathering times after the Easter egg hunt so people can get to meet each other and get to know each other.
Yes. And Athena's husband would like a car show.
We're working on that too.
Yep.
Oh, there you go, Athena.
Car show, Saturday market,
Crafts,
karaoke fun day in the park,
Mhm.
Christmas.
the prom.
The prom.
Let's not forget Mother's Day and Father's Day.
And 4th of July and Memorial Day.
Yeah.
There's lots of little things that we can do to have people's attention drawn to the park and with the reader board and making sure that they understand what the event's for or what the notice is, Memorial Day. Definitely thinking about those people. And 4th of July, it's more important than ever that we all get together and celebrate the country that we're in and the freedoms that we have.
Yes, couldn't agree more. Wonderful.
And speaking of that, the saloon will be doing a bingo on April 3rd for Ukraine.
Oh. Is there any chance that you'll let Diana Kreitz know about that? We definitely want that on all of our social media.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Boy, I hope they purchase a very large building to have that in. Bill.
Send it to me too.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna do some Ukraine food and a portion of
Oh
the
my gosh.
proceeds will go, and they're gonna
Incredible.
do it up big.
Yeah, that would be super, super wonderful.
We'll get the word out.
Okay. Cheryl had a question.
Mark and Cindy, at some of these things that you have going on at the park, like the Easter egg hunt and everything, do you think it would be appropriate, okay, for the Hamlet to have someone out there selling our apparel?
Yes, that's the whole idea. Anything that we can do to bring up the idea of the Hamlet and the fact that the Hamlet's there to voice, to create a platform for everybody's voice. And part of that discussion, when they're buying stuff like apparel, it gives the opportunity for having that one-on-one or 1-on-10 conversation about what the Hamlet's all about.
Definitely. And we could use one of the tents, put up a table, have some stuff there. When we used to do that in the past, we also would have some written material, which would be like, what is a Hamlet, and some of the brochures. So we might want to put some thought into that.
Even with the idea of that Katie or somebody from the county being there as to answer questions, is how is our government entities there to help support what the people are.
Yep.
I would volunteer to. Okay, I gotta look at my schedule. I would volunteer to do that.
Okay, and I'm busy, but I can help organize that, like get a tent, some of our written materials. Obviously, I have the inventory of we can decide what shirts, what hat, that kind of thing. And we need to do a price list. You know, Cheryl, you'll know the list of what we would need to take. So if you want to do that, maybe if there's another volunteer on the board or in the community that could join you, because it's nice to have company. Need a couple chairs and table and that kind of thing. So yeah, if you want to do that, I can help at least organize and stuff. So I got Easter booth written down. Yay.
And I know that our whole concept is to get as many people in the community involved with this, to get a bunch more subcommittees involved for the different aspects, because I don't want to do it all. Neither does Cindy, but Cindy and Carla are really moving forward on this, along with others in that committee. So like I said, baby steps. The other things that we're talking about are concepts right now, and we'll need to get it moving with real people. And Cindy and Carla are diving into what is a craft fair, what is a Saturday market, and how do you go about it? What kind of cost you want to put to people, and how big of an area they want, and how we're looking at flow so we don't damage the park in the process. And then getting the BCT involved, so we'll reach out to them, and then getting the soils conservation area, car show, and other things, because they have a big area in the back where we used to drive the truck and trailers into to turn around for Larry Scow, and that's still there. So it's a huge area for car shows and those kind of things.
It is not just for the parking, but then they've got a huge outdoor patio that's just gorgeous. You could have little tents up there, back there. And of course, your best BCT contact is Bill. So, you know, just run stuff by him and he can work with the president and the board. And so, yes, you have undertaken something huge, but please do not consider yourself an island. I know Cheryl's got so much experience with the craft and fair and craft and what fair? Art? No. I can't remember what it was called, something in craft fair, but
Flea market and craft sale.
yes. And then I'm dead certain in the community, somebody's got a lot of experience with your markets. So we can draw on that. All right. Yay. Thank you, you two. Every month is very exciting. Okay, let's continue to launch. Bill, thank you. Back to
We've got a hand up.
I'm
I'm sorry.
gonna refer to Jack.
Please.
Listen, I hate to be a party pooper. I have to leave. I have an annual thing that I do to celebrate my Irish heritage. And I don't know how many more of these I'll have available. So I'm off for the evening, and I will keep Tammy updated the results of my surgery.
And I was going to ask you to do that, Jack. Know that we'll all be thinking of you. So please take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Jack.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, so sorry, Bill, back to you. Now, what I was going to say with Mallory is I'm afraid we may have to do, you know, like using jumper cables to get this back on track. So do you want to have like a Zoom with her, like you and I and her? I mean, me only because I kind of started this mess, but you know, there's a lot of money out there that we need to like spend on signs. We need to get them done. There's some obvious speed bumps in this process. And I thought it might be a good idea for just the three of us, nobody else, not Katie, not anybody else, sit down and say, where are we? What needs to get done? What is it? And what can we do? Do you want me to schedule that?
I would love for you to schedule that. I really look forward to it because I have not been able to make any progress at all. And
Okay.
I feel very remiss in that, but you know, you can't push rope is what they say.
No, you can't. And she's, very not very communicative. So we have to push it. I'll go ahead and do a doodle on that, and then we will schedule a Zoom and see if we can have a really productive conversation. So please go ahead.
Great. Okay. So the R1 Act, we meet every 2 months. We haven't met this past month. The one of the things that did happen, there was an ad hoc group on tolls out of the R1 Act, and the advisors, the company that has been hired by ODOT to advise them about tolling realized that with all of the Clackamas County commissioners screaming and mayors up and down 205 screaming, that they really needed to expand it. So the ad hoc group is being dissolved and a new group is being formed on tolling, which will include the mayors of Milwaukee, the mayor of Oregon City, the mayor of Gladstone, the ODOT R1 Act people, Metro, a host of other people are now being brought in to discuss tolling because ODOT realized they really put their foot in it and nobody wants tolling. So they're trying to figure out a way of getting that going again. The No Tolls Army continues to make noise, and I don't know where that is right now, but I know that there are lots of people who are not happy about tolling and are demanding a vote before tolling and so forth. So that's the only thing I have to talk about on R1 Act. CPO Summit is still going on, and we're talking about all different kinds of things, including one of the things, which is the next item, the County CCI Committee for Citizen Involvement. I applied to be on the County Committee for Citizen Involvement. I had an interview last night. It was interesting because all of the people who were interviewing me were people I knew from, before. And so it's not like they didn't know me and had to ask me a lot of questions, but it was a good interview. And now at this point, the CCI itself will consider the interviewees and make a recommendation to the board for expanding the CCI. I don't know where that is. I don't know. No, nobody gets to tell me what's happening before it happens. So I may or may not be onto the CCI. The other thing that's sort of related to that is the Land Conservation and Development Commission has expanded their Committee for Citizen Involvement, or whatever they call it. I don't remember if it's the CI or CIAC or whatever, but they have called for people who wanted to be on that. So being a glutton for punishment, I volunteered for that too. And again, I don't know where that is, whether I'll be accepted on that, but I would love to be on the statewide Committee for Land Use Citizen Involvement, because I really think citizen involvement in land use is goal one, and it's also really good for holding local government accountable, because local government doesn't want to really hear citizens. They really want to do what they want to do. But if LCDC says it's a requirement, it makes it a little bit easier for citizens to have a voice. The C800 Oversight Committee on Voice Radio, they're going right through. We were supposed to have a meeting tonight, actually, that was postponed because they are right in the middle of an audit, looking at what's going on. And we've been getting updates from them they've been over budget because of wildfires and having to rebuild stuff and having to replace stuff, and the U.S. Department of Forestry not being very quick to approve applications for things. So they were over budget. They are still within the bond. The system did go live. So now all over the county, and in fact, the tri-county area of Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas County can all share radios. But of course, it's a new thing. So there's a learning curve for fire departments and police and first responders to understand how the radio system works and how they can have groups to talk about incidents that are isolated from the rest of the communication, so they don't have to try to fight for voice space on the radio. So it's going ahead, it's moving forward. I don't know what the audit will show, but I'm keeping on top of that. The Community Road Fund Advisory Committee met last month, in the 23rd of last month. We didn't really have anything new to talk about. We talked about the amount of money that was coming in. I think I discussed that a little bit before. We do have some money. The other money that's coming in is federal money is coming in from some of the federal funds that were approved in the Build Back Better, or IIJJ law that passed. So we are getting some money, and Clackamas County recently announced that they're getting over $100 million. Most of it going to the new courthouse, some of it going to some other stuff, but money is coming in to improve both roads and infrastructure, stuff like that. BCT, as anybody who's subscribing to cable TV knows, BCT is stopping cable TV at the end of this month. That will give us more bandwidth on the coax system to provide internet to people at higher speeds for the time being. But BCT is also actively pursuing grants and loans to produce fiber to the home throughout the Beavercreek area, which will be really high-speed internet, gigabit speed internet, not just megabit speed internet. But that's still working its way through, so there's nothing really to report there. The company is still solvent, which is good. We actually made a little bit of money last year. That is, the members have contributed enough that there is a little bit of money on the positive side rather than the negative side. We have been losing money for years, and so we're now finally turning the corner and we're actually making a little bit of money. One of the things we're going to be embarking on is over the next couple of months, we're going to be looking at the pricing that we have for the various offerings that we have. And there have been, in the past, there were bundles where if you had cable TV and you also had telephone and you also had internet, you got a discount on some of that package. Those will be, if you had cable TV, that is going away, so that you can't get that benefit anymore of the bundle. So we're going to be looking at all of our pricing to try to see where it is in terms of enough money for the company to survive, and also being competitive with other people that might try to come in. We are partially overbuilt by wave communications, but not completely. And so some places in Beavercreek could use wave, but other places couldn't. There are a few places that might be able to be served by Comcast, but not too many. So it's really, we're trying to figure out what's the best way to do things, but it's really a matter of equity for all of the members. We don't want some members to be getting such a great deal because they got 5 different things at once, and other members who didn't get all those 5 things are paying much higher prices for the things they're paying. For the communications facilities are getting. So we're really trying to look at that to try to balance it out. Add to website, working with Diana Kreitz. I haven't worked with Diana Kreitz very much, which is a problem to me. I'd love to work with her, but she hasn't talked to me. I haven't talked to her, and I'd really like to get something going. I've sent her some pictures of our website and saying, this is not very good, it could be better, but we haven't done anything. So
and she, boy, somebody asked about our diversity statement. I couldn't find it on the website, so I emailed it to her and said, would you put this on here? Well, no. It kind of started out with, I tried to search. We don't have a search button on our website.
Right.
So she said, well, I don't think it's on there. I sent her the statement. She threw it on the website, but she also created a search button. So at the bottom of the homepage, there's a search button. So
cool.
How well it works, I don't know. I
Well,
do need to talk to her about a couple other things. And, but when we were talking about the diversity statement, she brought up that she was going to be finding some time to work on our webpage, the family friendly part of it. So haven't heard back, but I do have to talk to her about a couple of other things, and I will bring that up again, Bill, for sure.
So one of the things that she did put up was a whole page on rules and regulations about the website, which I didn't know where that came from, but it went up there. And it's, it's basically good stuff. It's like, we shouldn't be mean to each other. We shouldn't criticize each other. We shouldn't use racial epithets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not bad stuff, but I didn't ask her to put it up, and I didn't know if you asked her to put it up.
No, I did not. Where is that? Do you know? I'm looking at the website right now.
No, I don't know where it is. I get an email from WordPress every time a change is made.
Oh.
And so I got this big, long email about the changes that were made, adding this whole section, a new page, and I haven't seen the page. I haven't looked at the page because I didn't want to do it until I talked to you.
Well, no, where she put under the learn tab, that's where the diversity, equity, and inclusion statement is. So I was just looking maybe under policies of the learn page. Not seeing it there either. So I will ask about that, because I did not know. I would have brought that up. So
I can forward you the email that I got.
that'd be super helpful.
A lot of it is in code, so that it'll be a little hard to read, but you can find some stuff in there.
Okay.
The question on this.
Yeah.
Are posts from Diana required to go and be approved by the board before being posted? Is there a clear expectation that has been set?
What we've been working on right now is that it comes from me. So if Bill wants to add something, he sends it to me, I send it on. Now, Diana and Bill and I have actually met. We had a Zoom meeting. So I don't know where we kind of left that. I think if Bill sent her something, she would add that right on. If Mark and Cindy were to send her something, they're just going to check and say, good to go. And I'd say, yep, get that Easter flyer on. That's the only really wishy-washy rules we've got. She's not to create anything and put it on without talking to me.
Which is the reason, that's the reason that page suddenly popped up and surprised me. So.
And that is a surprise. But, we could have 2 or 3 of us that it needs to come from one of us. With the Parks Committee being so active, we may want to assign like Cindy or Mark as one of the people that can feed Diana stuff. But that's just kind of how we set it up. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Jessica? Are you concerned or?
Yeah, of course I'm concerned. I mean, if expectations have not been clearly communicated, I think it's unfair to assume that she understands that. And maybe there was verbal communication, but I would hedge on the part of making something maybe a little bit more formal if we want such tight controls over our website.
Right, and we should. I mean, we definitely had the conversation. I don't think she'd put anything on there, but I say that now we have rules on there. So yeah, we'll need to do something. You have to walk carefully down that path. Very sensitive person. So we just want to make sure that, you know, this isn't as a result of a problem, but more that she's super clear and covered whenever anything's added. That's a really good point. Thank you, Jessica. So maybe an email that then I can share with the board. Who should feed Diana stuff? Myself, obviously Bill with the website. Who else?
Well, Diana feeds the Facebook too. So it's, you know, I like hands off for Facebook, but you guys need to figure out.
And that's the same thing with Facebook. When I give her an agenda, then it can go up. If I send her a flyer or an expert, or I take pictures, tell her what the pictures are. And then when, because it comes from me with captions, then she puts them on. Like we took a picture of the St. Patrick's gazebo, and then she wanted verbiage and I gave it to her. So she's very comfortable with that. Facebook, I haven't seen her put anything up other than you'll see stuff on the Beavercreek forum, which we have no control over when things pop up or there's a concern, but that's her personal. I mean, that's not us.
So why don't I know about the Beavercreek St. Patrick's gazebo?
You got a picture. We sent you a picture of it. Thought I did.
Think so? Don't think so. I mean, I just want to make sure that when we're sending out stuff for social media, it goes to all of the outlets, not just Facebook, but it goes to the Hamlet's website as well.
Okay, then I missed getting that picture to you. And we really should be like sending it to the board, like to Diana, and then copy the board so that everybody knows what's going on. And you all
Yes.
know that
Good idea.
the agendas are going on, but we'll make it a really good habit to always include the whole board. Do you, Mark or Cindy, want to be somebody that can feed stuff to Diana? Because I can let her know that.
Sure,
Okay, Cindy or Mark? Who?
Cindy.
Okay, all right. Okay, Cindy, Bill, and me at this point. Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Jessica. Okay, keep going, Bill.
So all three bullets under the add to website with Diana are just, we'll just pass for that for right now.
Right.
ODOT speakers, remind me what you want again. I mean,
Well, at
we've been
this
talking about
point-
polling,
Yeah.
and I think that it's still so much in flux, I can't really get you anybody.
No, and it's premature. I kind of just left it on there. I want you to keep thinking about it. I have a speaker for March, April, and May now. So really this would be more into June or July, and maybe things will know more and things will be more settled down. But I know we're going to want somebody at some point.
Great.
I mean, you keep us informed, don't get me
Oh,
wrong,
yeah. Yeah.
but when decisions begin to be made, then we might want a speaker. And what else? Oh, kiosk.
Yeah.
And nothing there.
Nothing there. I didn't know what lending library extension really
Oh,
meant.
we talked about looking inside the kiosk for where we might put a box
Oh.
to extend. Yeah. I mean, again, not a priority, but something we don't want to let drop off the list.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Bill?
No, but Mark has his hand up.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I've been putting together some materials to, with the idea of extending out that kiosk, maybe 6 feet, so we can put a larger library in there. If that would be more inclusive to all ages, still be undercover, so extending the cover out a bit. And
Wow.
so it wouldn't take much. And I'm sure that majority of it we can get either loaned or in efforts together to do it that way. But I'm putting a materials list together so that we can put a budget together to try and do it that way.
That'd be great, Mark, and we can certainly donate some material here. We've got, PT 4x4s and stuff, so. Okay, yes, wow, that would be so you're kind of thinking about moving that lending library in undercover and then expanding it within.
Leave it where it is, because it won't be in the way of any passage.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of cute, right where it's at, and a novelty.
Yeah.
But expanding it maybe to the south,
Yeah.
about that 6 feet, and then that way we'd have something that would be about 3.5 foot deep, and the width of the kiosk. So then we can have multiple shelves, and we can still have the glass covers or plexiglass covers, so it's not shatterable.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
And it'd be
Wonderful.
simple to do.
I think that's just got John written all over it, don't you think? That's great. Okay, wonderful. Anything else, Bill?
So just talking about that a little bit, on the west side, that side's completely blank. We could put our area map on that west side because we need a new area map and stuff like that. On the south side, where I think you were talking about, that stuff can all, if we take down our area map, that stuff can come down with no trouble, because we really need to reformat that space anyway. So just, let's work together.
Great. Wonderful, wonderful.
Work together, but if we have a library right there for everybody to be using, then we want something that really draws their attention, like the map or other postings, so that if they're going to stand there, they look at the books, all they have to do is turn around and see interactive activity.
Right.
And Bill does post our agendas. Things get posted monthly, and then on the inside, it'll be fun to expand and get some stuff done. So great, great, great. All right, let's launch on Kenny.
So C4, not too much happened at that meeting. It was kind of the new people talking about what they want to do for the next year type thing, more planning than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I'll be starting to be on the executive committee in May.
The budget committee?
No, the executive committee for C4.
Oh, you're on the executive. Oh, wonderful. Wow.
And then I got nothing on CRW. The budget committee, I think the first meeting that I'm a part of is next month.
Okay, okay. So that's in April. Okay. Wow, that's wonderful. No, we always had, the chair of the villages of Mount Hood was always on the executive committee of C4, so I never got to do that. That'll be interesting to see what you learn. Cool. Thank you, Kenny, and congrats. Okay, you know what? Nothing on my agenda is important and can't wait. So we're going to launch, other than I did give the Board of County Commissioners report, which I did send out to all of you, and you all missed the fact that I forgot to put the tree lighting in there. So shame on you, just shame on all of you. But I did catch it because I woke up and I think it was 2:33 in the morning and went, oh my God, I have to give this report in the morning. So I did get it added. Was still under 5 minutes, but the report was insanely well received. The best well received we've ever had. Just a lot of really positive from everyone. So I was very, very happy. And I mean, there was a lot to report. So that was pretty exciting. Okay, so let's get on to our community meeting agenda. I shot you all out a draft. Joe Merrick's presentation got tweaked a tiny bit, primarily because he is not prepared to talk to us about the roundabout on Redland and Fisher's Mill Road. So he wants to put that off until like May or June. But I have received lots of really interesting input on all of the signs in Beavercreek that are everywhere at every intersection. And there's 2 of them, and they're not all correct. So and they're really close to the stop sign. So once you get the warning, you've kind of blown through the stop sign. So, and good stuff too. You know, oh, wow, it's so nice to be reminded what road's coming up. So that he's going to talk about all the road signs, who paid for that, why they were put where they were put. And then he is going to give us a detail and open for questions on what the heck's going to happen with our infamous intersection. So those are the only two things he's going to do. I'm hoping, of course, to have Lieutenant Mendoza, but here is the other thing. Diana Kreitz had put out on Beavercreek Forum just a big concern to everyone about Newell Creek and all the unfortunate people that live down there. And, you know, her initial request was, could Lieutenant Mendoza speak to that? And I mean, he can speak to it a little bit because the sheriff's department is a very small part of helping the houseless people. So what I did was I reached out to Katie and I said, I know there's someone specifically in charge of not just Newell Creek, but anyone who's houseless in Clackamas County. And they bring together all the resources, sheriff's department, health, housing, and human resources, everyone, mental health, all of it, that really focus and help people. And what is the focus on Newell Creek? That person's name is Vahid, and I am desperately trying to get him. And what I've told him is, or what I've shared is, because we're going to have Joe Merrick, is we would have our guest speaker and start in on our applications, hopefully get through that. And then Vahid would come in at like 8, so he doesn't have to wait. And then we could have that conversation about what is being done and what are our concerns and what are we seeing and how we as a community can help. So that's my hope. That's not in stone yet, but that's what we hope is going to happen. That's the guest speaker stuff. And then, as I said, April, I can't believe it, but I got Zach Schneider and Zach Wells that will be speaking on both the Oregon side and the contractor side on solar. So April is our solar month, about residential solar and everything you should be thinking about and the pros and the cons and stuff like that. May is going to be all about PGE. Bill, go.
So maybe with PGE and solar, I got approached recently by a company called Arcadia, and they are community solar. And it's a different kind of a plan. It's something that you pay $5 a month to Arcadia, and they pay your electric bill, and they ensure that you're using clean energy. And it's just, you know, it's a pass-through kind of organization. I see Joe making a face. That's exactly right, Joe. I'm not sure about it either. I got approached by them, and it's interesting. The idea is that once you make electricity, however you make electricity, and it goes into the grid, electricity is electricity. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know how it's being handled. So the way they're handling it is using CREs, which are credits for energy that are created when wind farms or solar farms or something create energy. And a kilowatt is 1 unit. And so they buy kilowatts, they retire kilowatts. If you buy into their program and they pay your electricity bill, they retire credits in your name so that you are using clean energy. So this is an interesting kind of concept. You know, I don't know, but it feeds into both of the solar, which is doing it yourself, and also into the PGE side, which has all kinds of clean energy programs inside PGE's building. So, I mean, you can have completely clean energy inside your PGE bill without having to go outside of it. But it was just an interesting thing that I got approached by, and I thought I'd throw that into this discussion because it's all about energy.
Well, and I hope you bring that up in April, because that will be interesting to see a response. So I think we're in really good shape through June on guest speakers. The one thing on the agenda you might have noticed, because we do have Bill talking about BCT and transportation and Mark and Cindy on the parks. We have the Hamlet wood signs from Joe Matteo talking. I didn't have any real new business, and I'm not sure what to put there. I was going to think Easter. Well, no, Mark and Cindy will cover that during the parks. What else? Anything new business that you can think of for bringing up at the community meeting?
We got a lot of land use stuff. I don't know that we need to find more things to add. To
Oh,
the-
no, we really don't. Hey, we have lots of land use. Okay, so I'm going to try and get all of our applicants. Thank you, Kenny. I just need that kind of okay not to have new business. The only other thing, and Jessica, I just shot you 2 emails. And I was driving on Old 82nd, heading toward Clackamas, and I just looked over, and there was this lovely, not huge, obtrusive sign. Okay, that's a van, and I wasn't drinking Coca-Cola at the time, but to the right of the van, is there any, oh, she can zoom, yay. It's not big, and it sits on a lovely pedestal. And then the next picture is, you can see that it can do a million colors, and it can do, the next picture is, it'll show it. Now that's Classic Spa and Hearth is the name of the company. Hold on, she's grabbing the next one. But we could do color and shapes and sizes and logos. And I want to call that company and ask them where they got that sign. Okay, and it's 2-sided. And I thought it was just, when I saw that sign, I said, I could see that somewhere right in the heart of the hamlet. And should I give them a call?
What could it hurt?
I know. Well, I'd like to know where they got it, and I'd like to know what they paid for it, just because it sort of made sense to me.
I'd be ready for sticker shock.
Really? Do you think it's over 2,000?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, we need some rich patron to die and give us some money.
You would at least get a contact, know
Yes.
where they got it.
Right. I want to just know where they got it, and then get that connection and say, you know, what kind of things do you do for communities? And God, if we had a sign like that where we can have, you know, stuff for the Grange and stuff for the park activities and Hamlet stuff. I don't know. It was really attractive to me as I was sitting behind the Coca-Cola truck. So.
Just buy a couple of 60-inch TVs and put them back to back.
That'd be good. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's 9:22. I'm really sorry, but a great meeting as always. And Athena made it all the way through. Oh my goodness. He really does want a car show bad. So Athena, thank you for joining us. Your comments were really welcome, and we hope to see you. If you could make next Wednesday's community meeting, that would be awesome. 7 o'clock Zoom, and of course the Zoom link will be on our website. And Mark had a comment.
Yes, as far as looking towards the idea of connecting with and being on the meetings with Oregon City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did skip over my transportation thing. We need to make a plan. I mean, like a very serious transportation plan. What is this board and its citizens going to do to get our finger on the pulse of the county, the city, and the state? And I think the right 3 people to sit down and really formulate something, and maybe what I could do is just draft it, and you and Bill and I kind of come up with something to present to the board about how are we going to do it, because it's going to take a commitment. We've got to at least, I'm pretty confident the Oregon City Council is now just on Zoom, which is great. We could be monitoring the agendas and watching that. I think State of Oregon ODOT stuff. But yeah, we need to do something formal, and we're already a day late and $1 short. So thank you. I skipped through it thinking, well, we'll talk about it, but thank you for not letting me push that off, Mark.
Do we have an idea when their meetings are? So I can,
The City of Oregon City, it's on their website. I used to go with Christine Kaczynski, and they have a lot like the county. They have like a council meeting, which is like the county's policy sessions. And then on a different night, they've got their like business meetings where people like come and sit. Again, I don't know if they're in person, what they're doing, but it's a super, super simple City of Oregon City website, and then they're right there. They post just like the county, their agendas, their videotapes. We can go back and look at things. Like if we want to go back 3 agendas and see something, we can go on. And I'm continuing to hear very positive things about the City of Oregon City's council. So yes, I think we need to get in there immediately. Yeah. So I'll put something together, have you two like take a look, and then let's move forward with the board. Yes, we think this is our plan, and go forward. Okay. Anything else? Wow. All right. I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Oh my gosh, at 9:25. Sorry. And we'll see you all next Wednesday. Thank you. Can't wait for the Easter thing. So excited. Cindy,
So I
don't
want to,
forget.
I want to, just one last thing.
Yep.
The Grange is having a dinner on Saturday.